Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Big shout out to everybody pulling up for the live chat. It just seems that we will consistently always have those who can, those who can't, and those who always find a way to make themselves meaningful by the way or name of somebody else. In today's donkey of the day, probably donkey of the week, is Pablo. It is Pablo. Now I'm going to tell you what's up, Hugh Dewey on deck. When I first came across this, because I've been working on another project pretty extensively throughout last week and this weekend, kind of summing that up. Very challenging. Got it done. Big shout out to everybody with positive energy. But I said, I don't think this is going to be accurate. I think what's going to happen is I'm going to look into this and it's going to be wildly misquoted. And when I say wildly misquoted, I figured that it would be something that would be so ridiculously out of context that the original text itself would not even be remotely close to what is being put out here on social media. But sometimes you're wrong. And this time I'm wrong. It would seem that that he said something this idiotic. This idiotic. And it always seems that when it comes down to Lewis Hamilton, people will say some dumb things. See, people will say things that will get them they clout chase pretty much. Big shout out to everybody in the super chat. That's what it is. They pretty much clout chasing. It is a big clout chase. Now, Juan, when people say things like you just said, I can't help myself but to go and look to refresh myself on what you have done. And by way of this ideology, see how far it got you. How far did this get you in your career? That's what I got to do. But before we do that, let's look and see what Juan said, okay? So Juan says, and I'll give him some credit on some of the things he said earlier because it made sense about Ferrari and the way they want to do things and the way Lewis wants to do things and the way things should be done. But he says here, things haven't always been going well for Hamilton off track either. He's going to bring in this man's business. He's going to bring in the umpteenth amount of business ventures that Lewis Hamilton may have that are wildly successful in generating money. But not every venture you do, not every business deal that you conclude on and sign up for definitely takes off and flies. But you know what you can't do? You can't win if you don't play. All right. You cannot win if you don't play. And the one win you got, you probably took 1,000 losses. This is the way of the world, right? You have to be in there. You're going to take some wins. You're going to take some losses. To go on the offense, you got to be prepared to be strike. Big shout out to Rashard Conley joining the family. Big shout out to you. Let's definitely take a moment in time to welcome a new family member here. Shout out to Rashard, man, or Richard. I try to put a little extra spin on your name right there. But shout out to you, man. Welcome. Welcome to the fam. Feel free to use those custom emojis. Feel free to join the Discord. But yes, good evening, everybody. Good afternoon to some of you. This is good. This is kind of crazy, right? Because Juan has said some things. So I'm not going to attack Juan specifically as a person because he has said some things that definitely made sense. He even said some things in this piece that made sense in regards to Ferrari. But bro, I gotta crash out on you on this part because you can do a lot of good and then do some bad, and your bad outweigh the good that you just did. That's kind of what you did, right? It's kind of what you did here. So as it sits, he goes in to talk about, the burger chain, the Brenton co-owned and had gone bankrupt and all this other crap. Okay, One, get to the point. Like, it's business. We talking about racing. We talking about business. What are we talking about? But then he comes down here and it says, Montoya made his opinion of the Britons' image rather starkly clear. Okay? Rather starkly clear. And this is a little bit where I think we leave what we're talking about in regards to Lewis Hamilton and his career in Formula One, and maybe a bit of what you've been unable to do in your life. And you're looking and talking about somebody who has done far more than probably anybody in the sport of Formula One historically. That's pretty much what you're talking about. You're talking about Lewis Hamilton, who has achieved more things on and off the track than anybody else in the history of Formula One, who has grown beyond a driver in motorsports, who has grown beyond fashion, who has gotten into movie production, who has abundant amounts of money generated from real estate, who has an entire commission about STEMS projects and getting the youth involved in different areas of motorsport. You do not compare at any facet, anywhere, to what Lewis Hamilton has done. So when you say something like this, I think you said it how you said it, which you're wrong how you said it. All right? You're wrong how you said it. I'm going to say it in the way that you probably likely should have said it. All right? And maybe it wouldn't have been so damning. But this is how you did say it. I don't get him. You don't get him. He wants to be portrayed as that cool vegan guy who doesn't want to hurt animals or pets. First of all, what in the hell are you even talking about, bro? He wants to be portrayed. So right there is where I got a problem with you and what you said, Juan. I got a problem with what you said. So right even before we get into the most asinine part of your quote, you are basically coming off saying that Lewis Hamilton is faking. Lewis Hamilton is fronting for the world. Lewis Hamilton basically is putting on a facade of somebody he truly is not. He's this other person behind the scenes. That's pretty much what you're saying. So who is he then? And if he isn't this person, then one, do you actually know who Lewis Hamilton is? Because all I have to go off of is what he's done, what he said, how he's treated people, and how he is respected and regarded. That's what I got to go off of. So I don't have anything in that experience, in that knowledge bank, that would speak to Lewis Hamilton being other than somebody who respects life. I don't have any evidence of somebody giving me that says Lewis Hamilton doesn't respect life. Now, do I respect animal life over human life? Hell no, I don't. I do not. I do not respect animal life over human life. Okay? If I see one of you out there pedaling and drowning in your life, and there's a dog or a cat or a rabbit, I don't give a damn what it is, I'm going for you. I'm going to jump in that lake. I'm going to try to save you. The pet, if it's there next, maybe we go for it, whatever the case is, but I'm going to go and save human life first. That's just how I work. That is my chain of command. That's my order of priority. So for you to say that he wants to be portrayed, you're also saying that Lewis Hamilton wants you all to have a perception of him that he like. So you're wrong there already. You're already wrong there. To me, that comes off as a little bit jealousy. That's how that kind of comes off. It kind of comes off as you're jealous about the way Lewis Hamilton is viewed. You're jealous about who Lewis Hamilton is. You're jealous about how the world embraces Lewis Hamilton to a degree. That's what you look. And I'm going to tell you right now, you should never count another man's pockets. You don't count another man's pockets. What you can do is you can use somebody else being successful as motivation and acknowledgement that you can too be successful. If I see somebody doing something on a great level, I know it's possible. Now I want to try to get there. What do I need to do to be great in my own right? Because I'm going to tell you another bad fault. If you look at what somebody has accomplished and you only aim for that, well, you just capped your own potential. You just cut your own potential out. You just developed your own ceiling. When in fact, if you just use the fact that they're successful to encourage you to also be successful, you yourself might break through those ceilings. You might go past those plateaus. So Juan, don't be the Kobe Bryant of Michael Jordan. Don't do it. So let's get to this next piece, because this is where you went all the way. This is where you just fell off the cliff. You just kind of went like a lemon and you jumped off the cliff and just went stupid dumb. All right? So right here, where we bring this shit to the point. As this cool guy who doesn't want to hurt animals, but someone like that shouldn't be a racing driver Well, Juan, this is where you went completely dumb. This is where you went simple Jack. If you never seen Tropic Thunder, go watch Tropic Thunder. Juan just became the simple Jack character. So you mean to tell me, if I don't want to kill animals, if I don't want to maim a horse, if I don't want to go out here and snatch the horn off a rhinoceros, if I don't want to go out here and take the tusk out of elephants, if I don't want to go out here and say, you know what, that cheetah would look good on my wall, kill, cut open a cheetah, have it procured and put on my wall, I shouldn't race cars? What in the hell? Those two do not have to be synonymous in order for you to be great in either. So Juan Pablo Montoya says if you don't want to kill animals, you should never think about being a racing car driver. Well, damn, Juan. Besides for maybe Max Verstappen being the weird kid in the corner who you credited and gave some respect to, probably, maimed a cat or two or killed a bird or two. Okay, well, Juan, I'm going to tell you something. I don't think that's true. And if that is true, I guess, we need to do a lot of psyche vows on people. Now, I'm not saying you can't hunt. I'm not saying you can't go out here and hunt deer or elk, respectfully hunt animals that you're going to take and use for food to feed yourself or your family. I'm not saying you can't do that. I don't shun people that hunt. I hunt. Fishing is a form of hunting. Nothing wrong with it. But guess what? I'm not a number one Formula car driver either. So maybe I missed my calling. Maybe because I'm willing to also, in some rights, in the right circumstances and situations, take a life, I should be a racing car driver. That's what you're saying. Because as we get into the rest of your damn quote, that's what basically you said. So here it is right here. Because someone who wants to be a racing driver shouldn't mind killing people. What in the hell are we doing? If Lewis Hamilton said this shit, the world would be on fire. If Lewis Hamilton said this shit, the world, I tell you, would be on fire. You have a point if you put this in the context of the Verstappen family. Because you want to know something? Josh Verstappen tried to vehicular murder somebody with his car because he was jealous or he was a woman beater. Tried to run his girlfriend down. He's a woman beater. He also assaults people on track. And you know how far that got him? Not very far. He's not a world champion. You yourself are not a world champion. So if you had this ideology, if this is your idea of what a true champion of being a racing car driver needs to think like, it didn't get you very far, Juan. It didn't get Josh Verstappen very far. Max Verstappen got there, and it took a lot to get him there as far as scandals, cheats, illegal parts. Definitely for sure 2021 was illegal. But I'm just saying, you said this shit. That is crazy talk. Were you drunk when you said this? Because someone who wants to be a racing driver shouldn't mind killing people? Such a person should do whatever it takes to win. That's what you should have said, and that's the only damn thing you should have said. End of sentence, period. Lewis used to be like that. Now Max is like that. I don't even mind if you wanted to say that. But whatever you said before that, no, what you said before that is completely ridiculously crazy. I wanted to say something else, but I'm trying to do my best not to say it because somebody let us know that kids also watch the channel. So I'm trying to tone some of that down, Juan, but you about to bring it out of me, bro. You're about to bring it out of me. Now, let me tell you what you could have said there that one would have probably been like, okay, not so much backlash. Two would have made a little bit more sense as a competitive individual because I've been told this in some sense, in instances. I've been told that my mannerisms are my focus in a task to put myself into a compromising situation just to be competitive, to push myself to the brink. I've been told that he doesn't mind dying to be great. He doesn't mind dying to be the best version of himself. You could have said that. That you have to be willing to put your body on the line if you're going to push to limits that no other person will go to. You will have to be able to push towards that. You could have said something in those lines, Juan. But to say that a person who wants to be a racing driver shouldn't mind killing people, that's how Max Verstappen thinks. And what you did, sir, what you did was inadvertently give us your perspective on what Max is and what Max does. And that's why you say Max is like that. Because what Max shows you on track is he doesn't mind putting people in positions that could possibly take their lives. That's what you did. You didn't tell us a standard. You didn't tell us a level to which any human being should be able and willing to go to be great in Formula One. You told us what your perception and what your overview is on Max Verstappen in Formula One. And I agree with you. Max Verstappen is willing to put people in a situation where possibly somebody could die. He's willing to put you in a situation where you could possibly wreck your car and injure yourself or maybe even him. He's irresponsible. He might even be willing to kill somebody on track. That's your view of what Max Verstappen is. You turning that into what Lewis isn't and why he is not doing what he's doing right now is incorrect. It's incorrect. You're a weirdo. You're a weirdo for saying that. Max Verstappen's a weirdo for what he does and some of the things he says. Did you not? There are several things that Max Verstappen does in public that a lot of people don't key on that would tell you not only is that, but everything else has to be somebody else's fault. Does anybody remember there was a clip of Max Verstappen talking to Kimi Antonelli? A Mercedes member comes to grab Kimi to take him elsewhere. What did Max Verstappen do? What was his immediate action? Not even verbally. What was his immediate physical reaction that you saw? And if you've taken critical thinking, if you've taken psychology, if you have a degree that has facilitated courses that would tell you about human interaction and responses, you should have realized something about Max Verstappen right there at that point. Did anybody see that? What happened is, Kimi gets snatched as Max Verstappen is in the midst of talking to him. Kimi gets snatched. There's no regard to what Max is saying. And Max Verstappen acts like, what the hell just happened? That's what he does. He's like, you want to know why? Because it has to be somebody else's fault. What's going on? Nobody would just come and pull somebody while I'm talking to him. I don't want this to look like it's okay. He had a flabbergasted moment. An instant reaction that was confused of, okay, I just want to make it look like, oh, what? Yeah, that's not my fault. What just happened here? That's Max Verstappen. That's Max Verstappen. So no, Lewis is not willing to kill somebody on track to win, and neither are a lot of other people. Oscar Piastri's not, and he's winning. Oscar Piastri's also somebody who's not, at least hasn't come off to me as somebody who would want to kill or murder somebody to be a racing driver, and he's winning. So Juan, let me tell you this. Put whatever it is that I don't want to assume it's alcohol. I don't want to assume it's drugs. I'm just going to tell you whatever it is, it ain't right. Put whatever it is you're doing, put it down, go call somebody, and go check yourself in to get some help. Because if you keep making takes like this take alone should have got your ass fired up, should have got you lit. But, you got a little favor because of some things. Don't do it. Try not to do this no more. Try not to do it no more, Juan, okay? Try not. You spent 6 seasons in Formula One. You got 7 wins to your damn name, 307 points. And you know what? You never won a driver's championship. Let alone, I hate to say it, you won a championship, back in when you were racing with Acura, you know what I'm saying? Back in, IMSA some time ago. And because you was in an Acura, I'm giving you some grace because I'm a Honda person. But other than that, this shit that you talking about, if you think this way and you feel like that's what you got to do to be the best racing driver, it didn't get you far. So, yeah. Big shout out to Paul Bunyan, as I would tell him, because you tell tall tales. Big shout out to Paul Bunyan. There's still a lot of people out here doing things in the name of Paul Bunyan, telling a lot of tall tales. And Juan, go check yourself in. Don't say shit like this no more. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. Big shout out to everybody pulling up to the live chat. Peace and love to you all. I got a new episode dropping tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1900 Eastern Standard Time on DIY channel. I want y'all to check it out. It took a lot to get that done. A very big challenge for me as I sit right now in what I'm dealing with, and very proud of it. So I'll see you all soon on the next one. Peace and love.